The sun transits to Cancer, Saturn glares at it, and the impact that it will have on all of us. That's what we discussed today. Hello everybody, I'm Tina Chaudhary. Welcome to my channel and a very warm namaste. July and August are very important months because there's going to be 5 planets that are going to cross into a Gandanta zone. Now, what is a Gandanta zone? So the planets are going to move from Cancer to Leo, and the Gandanta zone is considered the transit point between a water and a fire sign. So Cancer is the water sign and Leo is the fire sign. And when a planet crosses over from Cancer to Leo, which is from a water to a fire sign, it's considered going over a Gandanta zone. Let me explain what a Gandanta zone is. So a Gandanta in Sanskrit or Hindu word means a knot. And so why is Gandanta a knot, and why is this transit so different from other transits? It is going from water to fire. Just imagine that if you have a very hot blazing pan and you sprinkle a bunch of water on it, the water immediately bursts into very volatile steam. That's exactly what the planet feels. It's going from very cool water into a hot, fiery zone, which is the zodiac of Leo, which is a fire sign, and it bursts into these flames, which means it's going from a cool zone into a very hot zone. So it undergoes a very difficult energy, which impacts all of us. That's a Gandanta zone. These Gandanta zones are very traumatic for the planet, or difficult for the planet to move through. Not only does the sun move through the Gandanta zone, but it's dragging 5 other planets, or including itself, it's dragging 4 other planets through these Gandanta zones, surprisingly within the same few days. So I'm going to go over the Gandanta timings of all the other planets. If you have ascendants that relate to these planets, you're going to feel this effect on the day the Gandanta zone is activated by your ascendant lord or your planet. Everybody is impacted the day the planet moves over the transit of the Gandanta. What kind of energy do we feel on these days that the planet goes through or crosses over? It's called a crossing over to the knot. Gandanta is a karmic knot. It's a difficult knot. It's not a smooth transit like it would be through other zodiac signs. So it's not a smooth transit. It's a volatile transit, so to speak. So how do we all feel? Well, obviously it depends on where this Gandanta zone is placed in your particular birth chart. It also depends on where this planet that's transiting into the Gandanta zone is placed in your birth chart. But they impact and affect all of us in some way on the day that the planet transits or crosses over to the Gandanta zone. So let me tell you the days that the different planets move over this karmic knot or the Gandanta zone. So the first one to move will be a moon on July 12th. Now the moon is the ascendant lord for Cancer people. So on July 12th, the Cancer people probably felt a little bit of emotional upheaval. They could have had a headache, or they could have different kinds of difficulty with their health. So not health meaning a bad health, but just a feeling in their heaviness in their body. The next transit will be, or was for Venus on July 16th. So Venus is the ascendant lord of Taurus and Libra. So on July 16th, they could have felt a little bit of difficulty. It could have been related to career, or it could have been related to their body, depending upon, like I said, where Venus is placed. But it's actually for everybody. It's so Venus moves over the Gandanta on July 16th. The next planet that transits over from Cancer to Leo is Mars, and that moves on July 20th. Now this is actually a good thing for Mars, because Mars was debilitated in Cancer, and if you know, I put out a video regarding that to see the effects of that. So Mars was hating being in Cancer, so it's loving going to be in Leo. So this is a very good news for the Mars ascendant people, which is the Aries and the Scorpio people. They're going to get their strength back, and their energy is going to be renewed. It's a good thing for those two ascendants. It's good for all of us because we were feeling low on energy because Mars was debilitated. So when Mars moves over the Gandanta on July 20th, after July 20th, we're going to get a lot of our energy back. So Mars moves over Gandanta on the July 20th, and July 20th is going to be maybe a difficult emotional time for us as well. So Mercury moves over on August 8th, and actually Moon moves over again. So the Moon does 3 Gandanta transits in a month. So Moon and Mercury will move over the Gandanta again on August 8th. So Moon and Mercury are both related to our mind and our thinking and our intelligence. So definitely on August 8th, I don't think some people should be making big decisions or thinking through things and coming to decisions. Our thinking and our decision-making power may be very questionable on that day. So let's stay away from making any decisions on August 8th. And last, but certainly not the least, is when the Sun moves over and crosses over from Cancer to Leo on August 15th. So right now on July 16th, it's going to move into Cancer, and then on August 14th and 15th, it's going to move into Leo, which is the Gandanta point of it. So today in my video, I've told you about the Gandanta movements for the next few weeks, but basically my predictions are going to be around Cancer being, Sun being in Cancer, because the transit just happened July 16th. But just to make you aware of these Gandanta positions and the fact that there's 5 planets moving over these sensitive points. So the Gandanta positions are considered sensitive points. But I just wanted to make everybody aware that these dates are a little sensitive, and people need to be a little cautious of certain things and just become aware of them. Nothing bad really happens, but if you become aware of these dates, you know what to do and what not to do, and just kind of let that day pass, and not to do anything important, not to start anything important, not to take on or make decisions that are important. And if you're feeling unwell on that day, it's okay, it'll just pass, and just go on to the next day. Don't get too worried about it. So as I mentioned before, the Sun transits into Cancer on July 16th. Now, Cancer is a very good zodiac sign for the Sun to be in. Cancer is ruled by the Moon, and Moon and Sun are very friendly planets to each other. Now remember, the Moon has no light of its own, so it gets the light from the Sun that it throws out at night. So the Moon welcomes Sun into its zodiac sign, so the Sun likes being in Cancer normally. Now what's happened this year is that 7th from Cancer is the sign of Capricorn, and guess who's sitting there? It's Saturn is sitting there. And so there's a concept in astrology that when you're 7th from a sign, you look directly at it. It's directly opposite, because it's directly opposite from that sign. So as soon as Sun moves into Cancer, directly opposite from that sign of Cancer is the sign of Capricorn, and Saturn's been sitting there. It's been sitting there for a very long time. Saturn stays in a sign for 2.5 years. So it's sitting there, and the minute Sun moves in there, Saturn looks directly at him. I'm not even going to use the word looks directly at him. It glares directly at him, because, now why do I say that? Because the Sun and Saturn are sworn enemies. They do not like each other, even though they're father and son. Saturn is Sun's son. Okay, the Sun is the father of Saturn, so they don't like each other. The Sun is bright, bold, ego, and the Saturn is just the opposite. It's dark, it's slow, and it has to deal with humility and nothing to do with ego and pride, right? It's the exact opposite. They're the exact they denote exact opposite things. The Sun denotes leadership and the kings, and Saturn denotes the common man, the low man, the person that's the lowest man on the totem pole, so to speak. So they're exact opposites. So the minute a Sun moves into Cancer, here's Saturn that starts glaring at him and unsettles him. It makes him very upset. It takes him out of his element, and now the Sun's very uncomfortable because here's somebody staring right at him. So the best analogy I can give you, and that's how I learned astrology many years ago, is how do we understand this? Is if you're sitting in your front room, and across your house is the neighbor looking straight at you, and you hate that neighbor and the neighbor hates you, and you're both looking at each other. Well, you're going to be very uncomfortable, and just suppose you can't move from there. You're stuck there, and so is he. So you're just staring at each other the whole time, becoming very uncomfortable. And that's exactly how the planets are when they're placed directly from each other. It depends on who's staring at them. So right now,
Here's Saturn staring at the sun, making the sun very uncomfortable. So in normal conditions, if the sun was in Cancer, it would give us beautiful results. It would give us a high ego, it would give us a lot of self-confidence, and it would give us great results in Cancer. But here's Saturn staring at him, glaring at him, making him very uncomfortable. And so now the sun cannot give us the good effects that it would give us normally when it was in Cancer. So not only is sun but the moon, because it's in Cancer, are both getting a little uncomfortable, because here's this bad neighbor looking at them, which is Saturn, staring them down. Now Saturn is a very powerful planet, so it has more effect than the sun would. The sun moves fast, so the Saturn is sitting there. It's very strong because it's an own sign of Capricorn. So the neighbor across the street owns that house, so it's sitting in its own house. It's very powerful, and it's staring at the sun. The sun doesn't own that house. The sun is a visitor in the house of moon, so to speak. So it's very uncomfortable. Now, so the predictions are going to be based on where the sun's not comfortable, and hence it's not giving us its benefic results. It's giving us uncomfortable kind of results. Now, so let's look at what the significations of Saturn. Saturn rules our career. Saturn rules our karma. It rules our day-to-day work, our daily routine. That's what Saturn rules. And the sun rules our job, so to speak, our position at work. Not our job, but our position at work. The sun rules our ego. It rules our self-confidence, and it rules our self-esteem. Well, when you put those two together, what do you get? You get the fact that our ego is going to be, is going to have to be pulled down. Our self-confidence is going to be shaken, and our self-esteem is going to be questioned or shaken a lot. So this is the basic prediction for all of us. The sun also represents government, so it might get a little shaky, or they might make decisions that the general public doesn't agree with, because Saturn's the general public and Saturn's the government, so it's staring at it. So you get these predictions where the general public doesn't really agree with what the governments are doing, or the governments are not very comfortable at this time. And so again, like I said, our ego is going to be pulled down. So my general guidance to everybody at this time would be, don't let your ego get in the way. Drop your ego for this 1 month till sun moves into Leo, which is August 16th. Drop your ego. Just lay low, put your head down, and just work. So you have to work per Saturn's rules, not Sun's rules. So Saturn tells you, put your head down, work hard, and don't question authority. And that's what Saturn is going to make Sun do, which is it's going to make all of us do that. So we can either do it willingly, or we can fight it. And when we fight it, Saturn's a hard taskmaster. It's going to make sure that if you don't do it willingly, it will force you to do those things. So general guidance is, put your ego aside, put your self-esteem aside, put your head down, and just work. Don't question authority, and just, like I said, lay low and do what Saturn wants us to do. I'm going to move on to predictions. They're very short predictions because it's only for a few days. It's for a month. And I'm sorry that I made the video late, but I was traveling. So I'm going to give you predictions, but if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure you do subscribe and share this video with friends and family. And if you like it, please do hit the like button. Moving on to predictions now. Aries, Cancer is your 4th house. So the 4th house rules domestic happiness and your mother and general happiness within the household. So there may be challenges related to that. There may be a little dissatisfaction at home, and watch your mother's health. Get close to her. Tell her that you love her. But the good thing is that after July 20th, when your ascendant Lord Mars moves into strength in Leo, things, it may give you the strength to cope with anything that you find challenging. So it's not too bad for you. Like I said, your ascendant Lord will get very strong, and so if there's anything that you find that is challenging for you, you'll have the strength to cope with it. Taurus, Cancer is in your 3rd house. So this 3rd house denotes self-effort, hard work, and dedication of something that you wanting to do. So you may find that any projects that you had taken on, or anything new that you had started, or even relocation, if something was in the works, you may find some delays, snags, and something that's not moving fast enough for you, because Saturn is going to cause those delays and obstacles. Don't worry about it. Just make sure you keep your hard work and your self-effort going to overcome the fact that Saturn's put these delays and obstacles in front of you. It's a short transit, so it'll work out. But again, make sure you keep your hard work and your self-effort going. Gemini, Cancer is your second house. So the second house denotes money, finance, wealth, and mainly, and also your own health to a certain extent. So the bad thing is that Mercury, which is your ascendant lord, it will be combust on August 1st and 2nd. So you may feel completely burnt out after that, and after July 24th, you may feel like you may have some financial difficulty or financial issues, and you may be very dissatisfied with that. And then on top of it, you're going to feel a little burnt out. Don't let that bother you. It's a short transit. Just take very, very good care of your health and try to keep away from being burnt out, and try to keep your hard work going. Saturn's hell-bent on making you not work or take your ego away and take your self-confidence away. Try to overcome that. Take good care of yourself and don't let the burnout get to you. Cancer, well, this is your own house. The first house is where all this drama is going on in, and Saturn's been in your 7th house for a very long time. So you're going to feel like your marital partners, your business partners are controlling you more than you're able to control them or control yourself. Also, your health might be you might feel like you're under the weather, you don't have the energy, or your self-esteem and your self-confidence might feel a little shaken up. Don't forget, Sun is in your own first house, which means you yourself. So you may feel like you're lacking energy and also the lack of self-confidence, and everybody else is trying to control you and you're losing control of it. Try to keep your energy up. Try to take very good care of your health, because if you don't, your health might suffer. So take good care of your health, and if others are telling you what to do, either just put your head down and make sure it works, or just let the time pass. Leo, the Sun is your own ascendant lord, and Cancer is your 12th house. So your own ascendant lord moving into the 12th house and then Saturn looking at it is a challenging time for you. Challenging in the way that it's going to force you to drop your ego. It's going to not have you. Your self-confidence could be shaken, and you're going to be maybe a little upset and down. Also, on August 1st and August 2nd, it's going to have an exact same conjunction with Saturn at that time. So those 2 days might be maybe a little more challenging than other days. So I would suggest that you just keep your head down and drop your ego and just kind of go with the flow. Don't try to boss people around, and don't try to be in control of things, because it's not going to work out. It's not going to give you a good consequence. And also try not to make decisions around the August 1st and August 2nd, I'm sorry. And don't try to make decisions, because your decision making is going to be questionable on those days. So go with the flow, keep your head down, and take good care of yourself also. Take good care of your health. Virgo, Cancer is your 11th house. Now, normally the 11th house is a good house. It's the house of gains, your network, and your friends. But the problem is your ascendant lord Mercury is so close to the Sun that it's combust. So your decision-making ability and your communication ability is going to be challenged. Everything that you say may not be taken in the right sense. It could be with friends or it could be with family. So watch your communication at all times and be very careful with what you're saying and how you're saying it. Also, decisions regarding finance and money are going to be questionable at best. So be very careful with decisions you're making and the changes you're making regarding your finance and wealth. And at this time, especially on the day of the exact opposition, which is August 1st and 2nd. So watch those days and just kind of watch your communication. Libra, Cancer is your 10th house, and the 10th house relates to your career, your profession, and your position at work. So and Saturn is has been in your 4th house, so it's disturbing the mental happiness or the happiness at home. So now Sun moving into the 10th house may question your position at work, or changes at work that happen. And so this transit is going to be a difficult one because it's going to question your work-life balance, and a decision may come up, or you may be thinking a lot about the work-life balance that you have, and you may need to make decisions or think about them a lot. Don't make any hurried changes at this time. If you need to, just think about things a lot. Your decision-making ability regarding your career is questionable at this time. If you make hurried decisions, you may regret them later. So think through things before you make a decision regarding your home life or your position at work or your career. And if actually you may need to get the advice of somebody somebody that you respect well, because your own ascendant Lord Venus is also going through the Gandanta process right now. It just did. So there may have been some changes that have already occurred or may occur soon. So if you need to make decisions, think through them very carefully, because your own decision making may be questionable at this time. Just make sure that you, if you make decisions, you don't make them hurriedly, and you think through them before you make them. Scorpio. Cancer is your 9th house. So at this time, there may be some difficulty in your relationship with your gurus, mentors, or even your parents. So you need to manage through that. Saturn has been in your 3rd house for a long time. So 3rd house denotes your effort, your self-effort, and your ability to work hard. And you maybe question yourself or why you're doing that, or maybe you don't even want to do that. So you need to think about that a little bit. Now Mars moves into Leo. So after a long time of being debilitated, which is your ascendant Lord. So after being, not wanting to do things and not having enough energy, now all of a sudden Mars goes in Leo and gets its strength back. So you may become very confrontational. You need to avoid that at all costs, and don't challenge other people, especially not your, like I said, gurus, mentors, parents, and also your bosses at this time. Don't challenge them. Just kind of go along with them. Keep your head down and just keep working. Sagittarius. Cancer is your 8th house. So when the sun moves into the 8th house, there could be sudden events or events that are unexpected. Now Saturn has been in your 2nd house, so that's like finance, family, and wealth, and income basically. So you could be very worried about that. Also, you may feel like nobody's supporting you, the lack of support in your life. You could be feeling that. And also, like I said, the sudden events or something suddenly happening, you could feel like you're not being supported. So thankfully this is a very very short transit, and your ascendant Lord Jupiter isn't part of all these Gandants. So you may be it might not be too bad. And again, if it is, it's a short transit. Take good care of your health and don't worry too much about your finance. Capricorn. Cancer is your 7th house. So the 7th house is partnerships. It could be marital partnerships, it could be business partnerships, and really a lot of relationships. And Saturn has been sitting in Capricorn, which is your own house. So a lot of things that are happening or could be happening right now is where you're creating your own problems. There could be none, but you're probably the one creating the problems. So a lot of them, at least I know you don't want to hear that, but at least some of the problems. So the sun moving into your 7th house could be where you're having some conflict, the ego issues with your partners, where you feel like they're bossing over you and they're telling you what to do, and you don't want to listen because you feel you know better, or you want to do it your way. So the conflict is mainly around partnerships that I see with the sun moving in there. Take a good look at yourself is the only guidance I can have for you. Is take a good look at yourself and see, are you the one creating most of the problems? And if not, just kind of let this time pass. Aquarius. Cancer is your 6th house. The 6th house is a difficult house because it denotes your health and your enemies. It also denotes your loans and debts. So you definitely may not feel well. Your health may be questionable at this time. You may feel very low on energy because the sun over here, and Saturn is in your 12th house. So Saturn's going to make the sun very uncomfortable, and that's going to make your body feel very low on energy and just give you a general feeling of, I don't feel well. And there could be nothing wrong, but you just don't feel well. And also, you may not feel very confident, like you don't want to do anything because you have no self-confidence, you have no self-esteem, you don't want to handle relationships, you don't want to handle people. So that's the general feeling the sun in your 6th house is going to give you. Also, don't start anything new. I would suggest that you don't start anything new, because the 6th house is the house of debt. So you may incur too much debt, and then the 12th house is also the house of expenses. So I wouldn't start anything new right now and wait for Sun to make its next transit into the 7th house before you start anything new. But take good care of your health. Pisces, Cancer is your 5th house. So the 5th house denotes happiness from children, creativity, having fun, and in general it's and love relationships. So in general it's a good house, but the Sun over there, feeling very uncomfortable with Saturn staring at it, is going to give you trouble in exactly these areas as I mentioned. Don't get into fights with your children. Don't get into fights with love relationships, not marital but just love affair type of relationships. Don't get into it with your love relationships, love affairs. And also you may be very challenged about where you feel, I'm not having fun, I'm just like not having fun, it's boring, or it's some, where you're the opposite of fun. So you may feel like that right now for the next month or so. But your ascendant lord, Jupiter, is not part of this Gandanta movement. So it's not as bad a transit for you as it is for some of the other signs. That brings me to the end of my predictions. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and goodbye for now.